Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Azanabila with NPM number 22100 and 1081. I'm from the Faculty of Law in Pasundan University. In this presentation, I will explain about criminal case study in Indonesia, which is the murder of Pulau Mas 2016, as an assignment for the English law course. Okay, for now I will bring 10 point of materials. Number 1 is about background of the case. Number 2 is the victim. Number 3 is initial investigation. Number 4 is suspect. Number 5 is the trial. Number 6 is appeal and concessions. Number 7 is public correction and media coverage. Number 8, key issues and legal takeaways. 9 is conclusion, and the last but not least is my personal opinion. And next, okay, and the first material I will bring to you is the background of the case. The murder in Pulau Mas, East Jakarta, occurred on December 26 in 2016, which involved the arrest murder of 6 people, including the Dodi Triyono, which is a property entrepreneur. In this accident began when 4 pedestrians entered Dedi's house disguised as guests, and then detained Dodi and 10 people, including his family members, is in 1.5 x 1.5 meters bedrooms, which is so small, which did not have ventilation. As a result, the victim ran out of the oxygen and 6 victims is died. Okay, next I will tell you the victim of the case. I will preparation for 2 groups of this victim, and 1 is survivor. Include 1 Dedi sons is Janet Khalila, and 4 domestic assistant, including Amy, Fitriani, Santi, and Windy. And the next, the death toll, include house owners is Dodi Triyono self and 2 Dedi sons, which is Diona Andraputi and Dianita Gema Zalfaila. And 1 Gema's friends is Amalia Kalista, and 2 Dedi's personal driver, which is Yanto and Tasro. Okay, for now I will tell you about the initial investigation. And for the point number 1 is incident. On the morning of Monday, December 26, 2016, the pedestrians used a rental car and changed the license plate to eliminate the trace. They entered Dodi's house by pointing a gun and assaulting all the residents of the house, including Dodi and his family members. And this incident was only revealed on the morning of the Thursday, which is for the next day, December 27 in 2016, when Sila Putri is Diona's friends came to visit and became suspicious because she could not contact Diona. He reported to the police station, and the bedroom doors was the areas was held was dismantled around 10 o'clock. And next, the police report. The Metro Jaya Police conduct an autopsy examinations of the victim bodies to determine the cause of death. The autopsy results show that the victim was estimated to have died between 8 p.m. on Monday and Tuesday morning. Okay, for the next is about the key evidence. So many key evidence in this case, but I will give you I will give you 5 underlines. Number 1 is surface and planning. Number 2 is usage of rental vehicles. Number 3 is weapon use. Number 4 is witness testimony. And number 5, but the last I will give you is the CCTV footage. Okay, for the next is finally we got the suspect. I will give you 4 suspects in this case. Number 1 is Ridwan Sitorus, or you can call him Ius Pane. Number 3 is Erwin Situmorang, or you can call him is Ucok. And 3, Alvin Bernius Sinaga, or Ius. And the last is Ramdar Butar Butar. I'm so sorry for the suspect. He passed away before the trial, and he not got in the trial because he died. Okay, the background of the suspect in this case is this: the suspect is come so many different backgrounds, but generally have low education and unstable jobs. Ridwan Sitorus is a businessman, while Erwin Sitomorang is unemployed, and Alvin Benayus works as a driver. And for the next is the motive. The motive behind the suspect actions is suspect to be related to be intent to commit robbery. They planned the act by surveying the house of Dodi Triyono and the homeowner before carrying out the crime. And post-incident behavior is the suspect attempt to flee from the crime scene and change the license plates on the vehicles used to avoid identification by authorities. And then they also altered the appearance to use false identities to evade capture. Okay, for now we got the trial, and so many trial in this case. In charge, the suspect were arrested and charged with premeditated murder, death, and deprivation of liberty based on the following accusations. For the first is primary, Article 340 in conjunction with Article 55 paragraph 1 of the KUHP. Subsidiary, which is Article 339 in conjunctions with the Article 55 paragraph 1.1 of the KUHP. More subsidiary is Article 338 in conjunctions with Article 55 paragraph 1.1 of the KUHP. And the second, Article 365 paragraph 3 in conjunctions with Article 55 paragraph 1 of the KUHP. And the third is Article 333 paragraph 3 in conjunctions with Article 55 paragraph 1.1 of the KUHP. And then the defense is 4 from team argues. I will tell you. Number 1 is the defense team argues that the defendants were not directly involved in the alleged murder due to lack of evidence. Number 3, the defense team also highlight procedural violation during the investigation of the trial. And number 3, the defense expressed doubt about reliability of the evidence and witness present by prosecutions. And for the 4, the defense requests leniency in sentering. Okay, next is about the prosecutions. I will give you 3 prosecution, and number 1 is the prosecution argues that the defense commit premeditated murder as stipulates in Article 340 of the KUHP. Number 2, the prosecution presents strong evidence. And number 3, the prosecution also argues that the malicious intent of defendant is evident from how they conduct the hostage taking and threats against the victim. And the next, we would say the sentencing. I will give you two sentencing. Number one is on September 19, 2017. Ridwan Sitorus and Erwin Situmorang were found guilty of intentionally taking another person's life with premeditations, and each was sentenced to death. But Alfie Bernius was also found guilty of participation in internationally taking another person's life with premeditations and was sentenced to life imprisonment. And for number two, on November 17, 2017, Ridwan Sitorus and Erwin Sitorus, also Alvin Bernius, were convicted of committing a crime of premeditated murder committed together. Ridwan Sitorus and Erwin Sitorus have reached death sentence, while Alvin Bernius was sentenced to life imprisonment. Okay, the next material is April and cassations. For April, Ridwan Sitorus, Erwin Situmorang, and also Alvin Bernius filed an appeal against the verdict. On January 4, 2019, the Jakarta High Court dedicates to accept the every request from the defendant's legal counsel. And the next is the cassations. Ridwan Sitorus, Erwin Situmorang, and also Alvin Bernius submit cassations. And on July 2, 2018, based on consideration and the judge of the courts of the fact in this case, which was declared not contrary to law and legislation, the panel of judge decides that the cassation request from Ridwan Sitorus, Erwin Situmorang, and also Alvin Bernius were rejected. Okay, the next, it's so much fun because it's talking about public question and media coverage. In this case, raised concern among the public regarding safety in their neighborhood. Additionally, the public show deep empathy for the victims' families, especially for the children who survived the accidents, demanding that law enforcement act decisively and swiftly in addressing this case. And the case became headline news in various media outlets with in-depth report on the chronology of events, the identity of the suspect, and the ongoing legal process. The coverage include interviews with witnesses, legal experts, and family members of the victim. Media also feature analysis of security issues in Indonesia and spark discussion of the need to improve public security system. Okay, then for the next is about key issues and legal takeaways. I will put you 4 points in this point material. Number one is role of forensic evidence. Forensic evidence plays a crucial role in uncovering the facts that occurred during the murder. Number two is media impact of the legal case. Extensive media coverage influences public perceptions and adds pressure on the justice system to deliver justice. And next 3 is motive, profile, and psychology. The motive behind the perpetrations action relates to intent to commit robbery with violence. And the last about legal system and sentencing. The Indonesian legal system imposes serve penalty for serious crimes such as premeditated murder. Okay, the next is about the conclusions. The defendants, Ridwan Sitorus and Erwin Situmorang, were proven legally and convincingly to have committed premeditated premeditates murder together. Alvin Bernius Sinaga was also proven to have participated in a crime. Defendants Ridwan Sitakus and Aaron Sitomakang were sentenced to death, while Alvin Bernius Sinaga received a life sentence. This verdict reflects the seriousness of the crime committed and its impact of the victim and society. The Supreme Court's dedicates to confiscate evidence related to the crime, including the weapon used and the victim belongings, for destruction. This ruling emphasized that the Indonesian legal system imposes strict penalties on serious crime, such as premeditated murder, with the hope of proving of deterrence effect and justice for the victim and their family. Okay, but last but not least, it's about my personal opinions about the case. The murder case in Polomas involving Ridwan Sitorus, Erwin Sitomarang, and then Alvin Bernius Sinaga demonstrates how serious the threat of crime is to public safety. The death penalty imposed on two defendants reflects the efforts of the judicial system to provide deterrence, effect, and unhold justice for the victim and their family. However, I believe that the application of the death penalty needs to consider carefully given human rights issues that often come under scrutiny in this context. As states in the 1945 constitutions, especially in Article 2A and Article 2A Paragraph 1. Additionally, the right of the life to the life also regulated in law number 39 of 1999 on human rights, especially in Article 4, which states that the right to life as human rights that cannot be demonstrated under any circumstance and by anyone. The judicial system must ensure that every decision is made based on strong evidence and fair legal process. Error in law enforcement can have fatal consequences, including execution in innocent individual. Therefore, it's essential to have strict oversight mechanism at every stage of the legal process. Okay, that's all I can say. Thank you so much for have listened to the case presentation that I brought. Thank you for watching. I'm so sorry for my mistake and thank you so much. Bye.